Hello there. It's time for us to lay out the fret slots on the fretboard. And what I have a piece of masking tape approximately down the center of the fretboard blank and a block that I know is square here clamped to this flatboard. This flatboard is here because my bench is an outdoor bench, and even if I flatten it, which I do occasionally, it will not stay flat very long. So when I'm doing things that I need a flat surface, I just bring one out and clamp it down. So that way, this way, I can push this up against here and it's not going to slip or move. And I can take a rule and push them both up tight and mark my fret positions. Now, previously what I did was I used a set of 6-inch calipers, digital calipers, for the first 4 or 5 frets. And after that I would take a ruler and make sure it was flush on this end to the board, and I would measure to the whole inch and then take the digital calipers and measure what bit of length was left, because your scale positions are always laid out in either millimeters or decimal inches. And what I've done this time around is take those decimal so the first fret is 1.379 inch. Okay, it's 0.379 decimal past 1 inch. So what I did was I measured 0.379 and found out what the value of that was in 16ths or 32nds of an inch. And so that I can take this rule now and use the fractional inches of this ruler, and I don't have to worry about the errors that will be introduced by marking the 1 inch mark and then trying to come up here and do one of these numbers to get my final measurement. So we're going to do it this way, and all I'm going to do, I know that my blank is square and I know this end is square all the way across. So I'm gonna mark out my measurements. That's to the 22nd fret. I've got some overhang here which I will trim off. When I glue the fretboard down, it will be glued flush to the top of the body. There will be no height to the heel. That will be, the heel of the neck plank will go completely down into the body, and the fretboard will lay on top of the neck and the body. So now I've got that done. I'm going to take my knife simply because it's a very fine point. First fret, and I have magnification on because I'm an old fart and I need to be able to see. And I'm just going to lay that knife edge on my mark and pull it across. And I know these are straight because I know the board's square. And I know my square is square. I'm hoping that you can see and my head is not in your way. And I'm doing a bit of shakiness. You'll have to flip and ignore that because there ain't a blooming thing that I can do about it. Just got to keep from cutting my finger. That would not be good. I am using this knife because the saw will ride in that groove and it will be more accurate when it comes to cutting the fret slots. People stress out about fret location way too much. If you knew, as someone who has worked on older instruments, there. If you knew the variance in scale length on some of the old Gibsons, the old Les Pauls, the Gold Tops, and all of that, or the old vintage Martins and Gibsons that are out there, you would, a modern luthier that's used to certain tolerances in a fretboard would scream bloody murder if they actually began to examine the fret positions, the bridge position, the scale length, and all of that of those instruments. The human ear is only going to hear so precisely, and that's pretty much blooming it. And it does not matter whether you get a fret slot location within, like, I don't know, really incredible precision beyond what someone can hear. It's not going to make a dime's worth of difference because they can't hear it. Flat out. Alright, I'm struggling a bit with exposure because of outdoors, and I apologize for any problems with exposure that we'll have in this video. But I'm doing with what I got. I have my fret saw and I have a piece of tape marked at an approximate depth. I have a depth stop that came with it, but the screws for this have fallen out and gone somewhere, and I'll be darned if I know where they're at. So, but what I'm trying to do, this depth is really not important. As long as I don't go over about halfway the depth of the fretboard, because once you radius, I'm going to have to come back, find the depth of my fret tangs and cut the depth into that radius. So it's not that important right now. I'm going to actually hang this off the edge of the bench, and you might be able to see that it might be kind of crooked looking. I'm not really gonna stress that, and I'm gonna just get the saw started first. And then I'm going to take this about like that. Once it starts cutting straight, the saw should follow that curve just fine. What you want to do, you see me kind of checking every other saw pull or so. I don't want to cut through this board, flat out. There she is. Front position's all laid out, ready to go. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.